this insurgent bloc, as the Washington Post describes it, of House conservatives providing to be a thorn in John Boehner's side. Question after Boehner caved on the issue of DHS and funding, something he promised he wouldn't do, and the Senate promised they wouldn't do, etc. No, they did it. So this new bloc, it's called the House Freedom Caucus. They don't have a website. We don't know exactly who belongs to the group. But John Boehner needed the Democrats once again. The Hastert rule, which means if you don't have a majority of Republicans, you don't pass it, has been cast aside, I am sure now, once and forever, which is not good in any way, shape, matter, or form. Anyway, the former Matt Boyle, who's a friend of mine, writes for Breitbart, has a point. Boehner, Priebus, ex-chiefs of staff, air ads to pressure conservatives resisting executive amnesty. And this is gone. Anyway, Louie Gohmert, our friend, he's filled in on this program many times, is putting together GOH Conservative PAC, which is recruiting and empowering members of Congress who want to join with Louie to fight for conservative principles. Louie, how are you?
As far as I know, okay, as long as you don't listen to the speaker.
How different is this from the House Freedom Caucus? For example, I didn't see your name as a member. Are you a member of that?
Well, no, that was started by some folks that actually had voted for the speaker on the House floor, but are conservative, good people. But anyway, that's by invitation only, and
you haven't been invited, huh?
Well, I've had inquiry if I would be willing to go along with what the majority of the Freedom Caucus said if they decided they needed to support something. And I don't give my card to the speaker, and I don't give my card to anybody else. But
so in other words, you said no, you're going to be independent and you're going to do what your constituents want.
Well, exactly. And Sean, what's so interesting is that people keep talking and writing, including some in our caucus, in the Republican Party in the House, that the House Republicans have been hijacked by this little bitty radical conservative group. But Sean, when you look at the vote on DHS spending, that was a total capitulation from the House on, and the Senate Republicans on going along, not trying to stop amnesty. The vote was 167 to 75. And I can tell you there are a bunch of those 75 that have very conservative groups that they represent, constituents, but they voted with the speaker out of loyalty for him. And so when you look at that, though, you go, wow, way over two-thirds when you think about some of the 75 being conservative districts, way over two-thirds of the members, House members that are Republicans represent very conservative districts. And so you'd start thinking, wait a minute, it looks like the hijacking didn't occur by conservatives. It looks like you have some go-along, get-along folks at the top that are dragging a massively conservative House along with it in the moderate direction constantly. But you're right, the Freedom Caucus, I think is the name, but they don't have a PAC as of yet that I understand. But I started GOHconservative.com, GOH Conservative PAC, to just to try to raise money, and a number of our guys that stood firm, just great patriotic Americans, already said, Louie, I need your help. They're coming after me. And I would love to have enough money in the PAC to start commercials that we could run to counter the leftist commercials. And it is tough when there are people saying, well, the Republican leadership's not behind this. Well, it's like people saying, well, yeah, all of the people that went over to help Netanyahu's opponent, yeah, they're 100% loyal to Obama, but that doesn't mean Obama's supporting what they're doing. Well, of course it does. And, of course, Obama supported Netanyahu's opponent, and, of course, the speaker would like to get us out. One other thing, there are a few of us that have made some significant inroads and help in undoing damage that this administration has done in places like Egypt and Jordan and UAE and Afghanistan and in northern Iraq with the Kurds. I've been in some of those remote areas, and Steve King And I, along with Dana Rohrbacher, usually leads the group, have really developed strong friends over there. And it's not fun to go to some of these remote areas and meet with some of the leaders, but we've done some real good for shoring up relationships where leaders in some of these countries say, we can't trust the Obama administration. And in every case, either the Russians or Chinese or both come running in where Obama's made them mad and say, hey, we're help. Like in Egypt, Putin's just about to give them money or has to help them militarily when Obama's holding back the parts for the Apaches they used to keep the Suez Canal open. So anyway, Steve King and I were going with Dana to Egypt next week and meet with Al-Sisi, and as we have a number of times. But we get a call telling us the Speaker's office says you can't go to Egypt and meet with these people. Well, that doesn't hurt me, man. I'd much rather be in my district. That's great. But it shows how small-minded these people are that are running the Republican Party.
Well, the reality is, Louie, and I read what you put, and it's reestablish national security defense standards. I'm with you.
Bet you.
Balance the budget. I'm with you. It's immoral to rob our kids. Repeal Obamacare.
I like the penny billion.
Yeah,
you do. Yeah.
You know, healthcare savings accounts. Secure the borders. I'm with you. Defend the First, Second, and 10th Amendments. Yep. Stop corporate welfare and bailouts. I'm with you 100% on that. I'm going through protect human life. I'm pro-life. I agree with you. So what's the deal? Are you going to try and get other members to join this? What does this mean?
Well, what it means is we're trying to raise money like the Senate Conservative Fund, because the House Conservative Fund is not as conservative as it needs to be. It doesn't help people like those of us who have been standing for principle, even when it's in the face of the Speaker. The House Conservative Fund won't stand against the Speaker anymore. But this is a new PAC. It is the GOHconservative.com that will help conservatives, help by running commercials, help with in-kind purchases, help with donations, help by paying to go to the districts and help them anyway. And we just need help because we're sure not going to get any from the leftist Republicans that seem to be running our party now.
Is there really an effort? There's a report this week, a lot of anger towards Speaker Boehner over DHS and the funding and the clean bill and not standing on the fight against executive amnesty. Is there really a movement, rumblings in the House that there would be an effort to replace them?
There is grumbling. I mean, those of us that stood up, the 24 that voted for someone other than Boehner, and by the way, yes, I announced that was to take away people's excuse that, gee, I have to vote for Boehner. Nobody else has announced. Well, that took that excuse away when Ted Yoho and I did. Dan Webster announced. But I was out there recruiting people to vote for Dan, vote for anybody. I knew I was politically a hot item. Don't vote for me. Don't get more political fire against you than you have to. But now some of those people that were not part of the 24, in fact, 2 days ago were on the House floor saying, Louie, I'm still doing damage control for not voting for you for Speaker. We just can't keep going like we are. So I think if the Freedom Caucus starts moving in that direction, you're going to see something major. But for heaven's sake, the Speaker stood up and said, we are not going to let the Senate jam us. A rousing ovation, Republicans in the House jumping up, cheering for him. And I didn't cheer because it, like the line from Mary Poppins, can't put my finger on what lies in store, but I fear what's to happen. All happened before. Because I went back, it immediately flashed back to me, TARP, when Boehner said, I told the president there's no way in hell we're going to vote for this thing. Then the next day he said, you know what, guys, I think we're going to have to vote for it. And by Friday, he convinced enough to vote for it to pass it. So we need to say what we mean and stand behind it. And we need GOHconservative.com we need contributions so that we can help people stand up. They've got to be able to respond to the attacks against them.
All right, Louie Gohmert's brand new PAC, GOH Conservative PAC, Go PAC, I guess is the play on words there. Am I wrong? Okay.
But it's
Go Conservative PAC.
.com.
All right, Louie Gohmert, thanks for being with us, my friend.
God bless you, Sean. Thanks
You're a great
for being
American.
the voice of clarity.
800-941-SEAN, toll-free telephone number. You want to be a part of the program. As we say hi to Randy is in Texas. Randy, hi, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Sean, I'm so glad I'm part of the Senate Conservative PAC, and I will definitely be joining Congressman Gohmert. I'm just blessed by God that he's there representing us here in Texas. He might not be Sam, who's my representative, but I know that he's up there fighting the good fight. And what I want to say real quick is whenever I was in high school, I was a Democrat. When I was in college, I was conservative. And whenever I had children and really got engaged, I became a conservative. And unfortunately, we have people representing us